Hey everyone, Sawmill Charlie. Well, happy 4th of July, everyone. I thought I'd come on tonight, give somebody something to do besides go out and see the fireworks or get in traffic or put up with all the crowds. Hey, Mark, Danny. Let's see. We got Randy and Kim and Mike and Russell. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link. Just kind of running a little late here, getting cleaned up. Been in the honey business all day long. Let's see. There we go. Hey there, Kurt. Pastor Larry. So anyway, my day started out getting the honey house. Hey, Darren, Rodney. Getting the honey house set up. Last night I put down the rosin paper on the floor. And then I had to do some work on I put my extractor on a pallet and I had to put some extra boards underneath of it so the screws would go down into it and have a better grip, keep the extractor from wobbling around. So that all turned out well. And AJT and let's see. Let's see that. Yep, that's JT. Anyway, got that finished, got that in place, got the extractor bolted down, and got my other lift out for my Hey Uncle City 60. Haven't seen you before. Welcome. And got my Hive Butler uncapping tank on top of another scissors lift. Mark says he's got to drill them into concrete. Well, everything for me, I've got to be portable. So Uncle 60 got hit with a big storm yesterday. We haven't had anything here for several days. Actually, as far as the farming goes, we've cut about all that field behind me up there on top of the hill. Got cut today, the rest of it. So first cutting is completely cut. Hey, Todd. And they did that with a tractor that cuts 30 feet of hay at one time. 10-foot mower in the front of the tractor and then one 10-footer off the left and off to the right. It wasn't my machine. It was neighbor's machine. He's kind of coming make those 3-foot by 4-foot square bales up there. Yeah. I don't know what Todd's having, but I'm having a cheese and bologna sandwich. Anyway, after getting the extractor room set up for the most part, I went out and started pulling supers. The hives right behind me, they're the big tall ones. That's the ones I wanted to work on to kind of get them cut down to size so they're a lot more user friendly as far as trying to get into them. Uncle 60, where are you located at? Hey, Nancy. Hey, Dodd. Happy 4th, Dodd. So anyway, I got out there, started pulling supers, using a form or a fume board and my little Milwaukee leaf blower, and got most of all those big tall ones kind of cut down to where there might be a super or two above the queen excluder, and all that. Where are you located, Uncle 60? And so I got, I think it was 28 boxes in. About 10 of them were those top boxes on them tall hives behind me there. They were more like the brood chamber. There was some brood frames that filled up with honey, and they were pulling some wax, making New Jersey. Okay, I didn't think. Oh, I guess you got the storm that kind of went around out into the sea and went up past me. Hey, Dinah. Happy 4th to you too. Hey, James. So I pulled them off. Then my friend that I help mentor, and he comes and helps me, and then I let him use my extractor and stuff. We between me and him, we pulled, I think, 28 super, something like that. The 10 of them, a lot of times there was maybe 3, maybe 4 supers. Hey, Billy Lee. Maybe 3 or 4 frames of, I'll say, brood frames possibly, where they had packed some honey into it, and the rest of them were more or less foundation frames. Some of them where they were drawn partially out. So I kind of went through those first 10 pretty fast. And so right now I've got, let's see, 165 pounds of honey in buckets this afternoon. That's what I did this afternoon. And right outside the window here, I got a row of my honey supers out there, and the bees are like in a tornado out there, sucking all the combs dry, licking them down clean for me. Hey, Brian. And all that. Yeah, Brian, I seen where you were out there, that one canyon. I've been to Bryce Canyon years and years ago. Test moisture content. I've been running about 17 and a half. I did have one there that hit an 18. I tested before I pulled the honey, and on several different combs, and some of the open stuff was like 16, and then most of it was around 17 and a half. And then I test about once a bucket, and it seems to be doing pretty darn good. It's a kind of a medium amber, something like that. It isn't real light looking. It's not I don't think it's straw yellow, but it's kind of dark. The biggest thing I did notice is compared to last year versus this year. Last year we had a little bit of a flow in July. It kept on bringing in nectar for probably most of July. This year, the nectar has been gone for probably a week or two, a couple weeks at least. Probably by the end of June, it was so much rain. And while the stacks were on the truck, where I stacked them up, put lids on the bottom and top, and the robbers were really trying to get into those stacks of honey supers. And then the biggest problem I had is on the back. I have a back porch that's glass windows around, and they're inside. I must have had 50 or 20,000 bees in the house, in the back porch, trying to scoop them up and throw them out the back door. And it just got down to the point where I got most of them out, and I just got the vacuum cleaner out and started sucking them down. And all that. Didn't really want to do that, but they were getting in the honey and getting in everybody. Hey there, Ryan. So that's what I've been doing. Like I say, got about 165 pounds of honey in the buckets. And I got another 14 boxes supers still in the house that I haven't touched yet. I got about half of it done as far as this batch. There's probably another 30 or more boxes of honey still out on the hives and stuff. Hey, Bundy. So, Ryan, are you working tonight or not? I guess you're not. Hey, Catherine. Here comes Ryan. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm working.
It doesn't look like your normal swarm catching truck.
No, they got me a new one. So now I'm in I don't know if you're familiar, it's a squirt bucket.
A little teeny one?
Yeah, it's an F550. Easier on my back.
Hey, Kathy May. Yeah, like I said, I started extracting today. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, yeah.
And all that. Still got a bunch to do. And humidity's down now. I can kind of deal with it without killing myself.
Hey, is this truck noise bothering you?
I don't hear anything.
Okay.
So what are you troubleshooting tonight?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here staring at DC. Well, the calls will come in right around dark, so I can sit on here for a little while till the fireworks start going off.
Yeah. So anyway, I got like I say, I finally started. I got the highs behind me. There's the ones I started on first to get them down low, and some of them there were some of them like the top box. There really wasn't anything in there, and I had one box where I took all the honey supers off, and I had the box. I always like to keep my colors right. Anyway, I had the right empty box with the right color, and it's it's three high and all that stuff.
Right.
Still having some queen issues. I got some mated queens in the back row back here, and I've tried to use just one big tall hive. I've tried to get that thing mated or put some different virgins in there, and it just seems like they just don't want to take. I guess I'll drop a mated queen in there, see what happens then. Either that or take one of my nukes and just drop the whole darn nuke in there.
Right. Yeah, I'm dealing with some drone layer queens, and I had 2 worker laying colonies. So I was dealing with all that. Yesterday I worked bees all pretty much all day long. So just trying to get everything queen right, and go from there. I've been so busy. I mean, because Charlie, the storms we've had past 2 weeks, I've been busy. I mean, called into work and everything else, so I haven't been able to get to the bees.
Well, it's like me. If I'm not at the mill, I'm trying to get hay done while the weather's right and those windows of opportunity. And then trying to work bees. Well, then the last couple of weeks, the humidity has been, like 105 degrees, it feels like. And I got out there last weekend Saturday afternoon for 2 or 3 hours. I did that video and sold 3 or 4 queens, and so I actually had a nuke for a guy, and got all that done. And I'm in and out of the pickup truck, keeping myself cool. Tried to do a little bit with just to look over the mating boxes, and I'm like, I just can't do it. I'm done.
Yeah.
And then Sunday morning, I dropped a virgin queen in one of the hives that I sold the queen out of, and checked those mating boxes. Some of them were empty, and some of them were fine, and all of them needed, as I call it, sugar water put in them. And I filled all them up, and all that kind of stuff. I see Brian likes your video, Ryan, out in Colorado.
Oh, thank you.
And so anyway, I got that done, and you just get to the point where I just can't stand it. It's just like you get there, you get so much of it done, and it's like you're done. You can't handle it. Hey, Melanie.
Yeah, Charlie. A lot of the colonies I went through the other day, the last time I was in them was June 17th and June 19th, and a lot of them said will swarm, which means when I went in them in June, there was either swarm cells or whatever, and I was kind of overwhelmed. I said, well, screw it. If they swarm, they swarm. I didn't have any nukes, or I don't even have any frames left.
And you're trying to downsize too because of the situation.
Yep, I was trying to have 75 colonies, and now I think I got like 55 to 60, and I want to get down to 30.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, hell, I just let them swarm then, and if it doesn't work, I'll combine them or whatever.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about hive beetles real quick. Hey, what's going on, Bill?
How's it going?
Yeah, Charlie. So I've never really had hive beetle issues here in Southern Maryland. But I have a yard that I set up in the fall last year, and I went through that yard the other day, now that we're in July, and dude, every colony was loaded with beetles. Isn't it because it has to be the soil, right?
Well, if it's sand, you're down that sandy ground down there, aren't you?
Well, that's where I'm getting at. That farm there is a little sandy.
Sandy ground, and then is it shady or is it
all? It's all shade because it's in a right of way where power lines are.
So you're totally shaded.
It's about, I would say, I don't know, 4 to 5 hours of sunlight during the middle of the day.
That's pretty much why.
Yeah. So
between the, like between the shade and sandy ground where they can breed, look out. Okay. Now I got those ones right there, and of course you're like me. You keep a good solid hive, plenty of population unless it gets sick,
right?
And all that. So you don't seem to have too much problems with beetles or wax moths or something like that, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I seen a wax worm today, and it's like. The only thing I could think of is it was probably up in a super that was not well populated, where the bees had kind of got down lower into the hive area and all that. But I just seen one little wax worm, and that was it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. I don't have any beetles. I don't see them at all, unless it's a weak hive. You might see 1 or 2 or 3. I mean, of course, compared to like Bruce or somebody down there might have 10, 1,000 of them, something like that.
But yeah, that one bee yard that I set up last fall, I'm starting to really think. I know we always talk about how queens are very important and all, and we all know that a young queen is the way to go. I think another way to be successful at beekeeping is location, because that location there did not perform well at all. I had those hives split, ready to go for the flow. They barely drew out a box of honey. And it was a new yard, so I was testing it out. But And then now I got hive beetle issues there. My mating success, because I took some virgins to that yard. No, it was 50-50. When my other yards, they do way better than that. Out of 10, in my other yards, I'll have 10 virgins, and 8 of them will come back mated. So I don't know. Location, I'm starting to think, is just as important as being a beekeeper.
I would say, I don't know, like Lynn that comes on here for Baltimore, Greater Baltimore Beekeepers. Um, she's got a couple hives over there on this farm. It's out in the middle of nowhere. And you look around, and it's a lot of grass fields, and then you got a lot of tree lines. And I'm like, yeah, but it looks like to me it's a bunch of oak trees instead of like poplar or locust. And we were looking at, there was some locust there, but not much. And all that. Hey, Joey.
Hey,
And she's got hive there, and she has a lot of trouble trying to keep them things up and running. And there was a person there prior to that had the same issues and stuff. So,
Yeah.
it's well, I'll have to say location definitely plays a part, I think. And there's a location there. Don't sound like it's one very good. That's ones where you get rid of them. So, Joey, what's happening?
not much. Just got out of the honey house.
Did you
I still got honey all over me.
still pulling honey, or I guess you've been pulling honey quite a bit.
Yeah, I've been pulling pretty regular. I pulled some a couple of days ago. I actually was working on that video for tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but I got it spun out today. I had a bunch of them in that yard that was like, the honey supers were like half full. Some of them they didn't move up in there. I think I don't know what I'm gonna have when the cappings get done, but I'm about 25, 28 gallons somewhere in there right now for today. They made me work for that because they had scrappy frames in there. One side would be full of honey, the other side half full. When you do that, you have to make sure your spinner's balanced out good.
Yeah, so what I do is I have my extractor has 3 spokes in there, and my game plan is where the spoke is on the other side is where all the heavy frames go, and I put those 6, you might say, there, 6 of them, and then there's a little bar. It kind of separates in between the 2 spokes. It's kind of a brace bar, and if it's a light frame, I put those at those bars, and it kind of plays out to where it spins really good and all. So
Is that my computer doing it?
I don't know. Is it yours? Turn the YouTube part off.
I got it muted.
How about you, Brian?
What's going on?
Yeah, that's fine. There was some feedback here somewhere. It's going now, I think.
No, I still hear it.
I don't know.
It could be me. I'm in a truck.
I can hear a little bit of a rumble, but that's your truck. No, you don't need to turn it off. You don't need to sweat.
No, I can't figure out how to turn the. There we go. Now I got a funny story. I made some creamed honey, Charlie, and I took it to the fairgrounds for an event, and it was hot that day, right? It was the first time with me messing with creamed honey. I had it out on my table and everything, and a little old lady walks over and she was like, what's this here? And I said, well, that's creamed honey, and I went down and reached in front to grab it up, and I'm like, well, shoot, that's liquid honey. I picked all up them and put them away. They had all halfway went back to liquid.
How
Yeah,
long did you let it set up before you put it out there?
Oh, what do you mean? When I made the batch,
Yeah.
I believe it was 3 days.
Yeah, you're supposed to jar it and let it set for at least 10.
Okay, 10. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, uh,
In
it
a
was in
cool,
straight.
dry place.
Yeah, this was in straight sunlight.
Yeah.
Like,
That'll
yeah.
definitely do it.
I think Brian out there will tell you that when it comes to creamed honey and if it's hot, that he'll have a cooler.
yes,
He keeps it in a cooler because of that.
yeah, because those little glass jelly jars, they were just. I mean, it was like 101 that day.
Oh yeah.
It just went straight halfway to back to liquid.
Yeah. And all that stuff. Looking, see who else talking here. What have you been doing, Bill? Yeah, I think didn't you say you pulled some honey?
Yeah, we pulled honey this morning, pulled 15 supers this morning. All of them weighed out to about 55 pounds.
I mean, each.
For all you people running for your calculator, that's 825 pounds of honey. We've got 5 to 8 more supers full tomorrow morning.
That's just weighing each super itself.
Yeah, see, I got a dry weight. I figured out the tear weight for each type of super.
Right.
So yeah. So
Well,
they're weighing out to about 55 pounds of honey.
Sound like you're doing well.
Yep. So far. We'll see after tomorrow morning what I get. So hopefully it's gonna be somewhere around 1,000 pounds. Maybe a little bit more. And then this afternoon, baling hay, so yeah.
Y'all work too hard. Too much.
That's nothing, Joey. Well, come on up here around harvest time.
Yeah. Right there, Ryan. You see that? His creamed honey stays in the cooler on the hot days, and you got to definitely keep it out of direct sunlight.
Yep, I learned that.
If you got it in a glass jar, it's kind of like a solar melter anyway.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it did.
I'll be back. I'm getting a drink.
Grab me one.
Yeah, grip me one too. I could use one about right now.
Bill, when you extract, take your honey boxes off, do you have help or you do it all
Yeah,
by
the wife
yourself?
and I do it.
Okay.
Yep.
And you run mediums?
Yep. All mediums.
And what would you say that you were weighing the boxes, right?
Yep. I got a tear weight. I set up boxes with drawn comb in them,
Right.
and I got a tear weight, and so I zero my scale and weigh it.
Yeah. What did you say the average was?
About 55 pounds.
Okay. Yeah. I run 9 frames and I did a few of the weighing the honey with the box in it for the 9 framers on mediums, and the most I got was 59. Well, that was the heaviest.
Yeah.
But that was some fat frames.
Yep.
I was doing frames there today, and I got them at 9 frame. And they're always saying that they'll draw out past, but now mine were out a little bit past the plastic frames, but not that, nothing like a half inch or anything like that.
Yeah, they do draw them out wide, but they're still mindful of the bee space when they do it.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at these guys with these automatic machines, and it looked like to me that they're really, fat.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, how do you get them to get that fat? You know, hey, Grammy.
I'll have a few get that fat, and then sometimes they'll draw one out so fat the other one's sunken into the frame.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen
You got one this far outside.
I noticed a lot of them on my 9-framers. They wasn't just a little bit past the sidebar at the top, but where the bar narrows back down, they stayed straight.
Yeah.
Stayed flat there. I noticed a lot of that this year.
That was pretty much the way mine were. That there was, you know, flat all the way down. Darren's is the same thing. Oh, and then I was it yesterday? Yesterday was what? When? What was yesterday?
Thursday.
Thursday. I grabbed it yesterday, 30 cells. Or we'll see. I don't know. My biggest thing is it's been so stinking hot that I haven't been able to really maintain that cell builder that well as far as fresh bees.
Are you selling queens, Charlie, or what?
Yeah, I've been selling queens. I've sold over 20 plus queens. Close to, I don't know, 25 or 30 right now, I think. And I'm going to go ahead and I've been selling the virgins and all. I'm like Bill there. Didn't you graft too, Bill?
I'm grafting Sunday.
Sunday.
Yep.
This will be my last graft. I'm done.
Sunday will be my last graft too.
Hey, Bill.
Yes.
I got pulled up here that Varoxan treatment, right?
Yep.
It says 4 strips per 10 brood frames. So if I have a 10 frame single with 6 frames of brood, I'm only using 3 strips.
That sounds right.
The only problem is, Ryan, is you drape them darn suckers down. They're just as bad as.
Do not drape them over the edge of the frame.
I'm not getting this treatment yet, but I have been talking to someone locally here that lays them on top of the frames. But he runs doubles.
Yeah.
See, I run a single, so I'd have to make sure. You know, I don't know how much bee traffic is going to be over top of that frame.
Yeah, well, if you drape them down on the brood, all right, where that strip lays against that comb, it's going to burn it all the way to the foundation.
Yeah, kind of like what Apivar does.
Worse. Yeah.
Is that what it does? I thought the bees were just moving the wax.
You want to see a picture of it?
Oh, I've seen they're all over all over Facebook groups and all.
Yeah, I got a picture of it somewhere.
Well, hey, Todd.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure just exactly. I haven't used any of it, but.
Well, it's expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's expensive as hell.
For me to treat 3 colonies, it's $75 is what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, easily.
Oh, wait, hold on. Doubles. No, you could probably treat 5 colonies for $75 if you have doubles.
I think.
Yeah, but see, if you've got 10 frames of brood in the bottom box and you got 10 frames of brood in the top, in the double, you got to treat the top too.
Yeah, but I mean, who's gonna?
You just can't lay it between them.
Yeah, not many people have 20 frames of brood like that though. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think with the pads that I make, I think I'm into those about Well, it's less than $1. It's just my time. I got to make them, but I make them in the wintertime when I have nothing to do.
And they'll last, I guess you would call them, or how do you keep them in the freezer?
No, they sit there. I just keep them in a plastic tote, like like size of wow, hell, I don't know, like well, if you could see my printer here, you can't, but it's a decent sized box, and it's just a plastic thing with a clip-on lid. I put it on the side of the garage, leave it alone. When it's time to use them, I pull them out and put them on.
Yeah, and those strips you make, Todd, that's what this is. This is just really expensive.
I'm just cutting out the middleman. I'm doing it myself. So
I'm interested in that new stuff that Man Lake's coming out with.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's that. What's it called, Bill? Cora?
Yeah, it's something like that. Cova or
It's Cora. It's an RNA. Basically, it makes the mite sterile,
yeah.
and it goes for 18 weeks.
I asked Randy Oliver about that, and he said you can't make those mites go sterile.
My question is it's so long, and it's like, okay, they state in the directions that what they got on the internet right now is that you got to put this on when your mite levels are low, kind of like it's like a maintainer. And I'm like, well, when you're going to put this on there, you can't put it on when the supers are on. And come July, August is when you want to treat them, push the mite levels down. And it just, I don't know, it just don't seem like to me, unless you put it on in the wintertime. I don't know what the temperature restrictions are yet.
What is this? Is it organic or synthetic?
No, it's a bio.
Oh,
It's considered a biopesticide.
Okay.
It's something where it's the bees eat it, and then the mites latch onto them, and then they get it, and it makes them sterile or die. Or it doesn't really kill them; it just makes them sterile. So, I don't know.
It interrupts their RNA DNA chain, so that the female mites can't reproduce.
Like I said, I asked Randy. He said they had no idea. They have no idea about making mites sterile. Because that's the obvious thing to do. Sterilize them. And
there it is. It's called Nora. NORROA.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, and then the EPA is testing one now. It's got sucrose in the name of it, but it's a biopesticide as well. It dissolves the exoskeleton. So
I don't know. I mean, trying to sort of fit something like that in while I'm still doing my normal routine. It just doesn't seem like it's going to fit.
right.
If they're saying,
But being that it's a 5-month-long treatment, and if you catch it outside of the honey season to do it here in the mid-Atlantic and further north, you don't have time to get it off in the winter. You can't get it off in the winter, so it looks like it's going to be a pesticide for the southern states to use.
well, that's what I was kind of, looking at when you would put it in, and then when you're trying to get the bag off, it's a big square. It's a pretty good sized bag, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got these little perforated holes in it. Like you say, if you're in the middle of the winter, you can't get it off. So
It's saying you can use it in any temperature.
I like that.
Hot, cold. and it's telling you you'll have a 75% winter survival rate.
I got a picture of it if you want to see it.
Yeah, go ahead and put it up.
Let me get the right picture here.
Charlie, what's the spelling on that again?
Norroa.
Oh, all right.
Nora.
It's on Man Lake's website, says coming soon.
Yep.
You said
12
75% survival rate?
That's what it says.
Oh, okay. This is what they were doing up at Ian's property, I think. It's the same-
Yeah, Brad was saying it. They were doing it up there in Manitoba.
He's
There
been
it
doing
is.
it. They've been doing it for over a year up there.
No, I'm muted.
Yeah, it's got like little perforated holes and stuff.
There's the holes.
I wonder if Ian was part of that.
I don't know.
Sounds
So,
like
and-
somebody shooting.
That's what the packaging is going to look like right there.
One treatment, 2 pouches of 500. So you got to put it on twice.
I don't know. Nobody knows a lot about it.
Okay, why are they mixing it in with Vatiscana or Vatiscana?
I don't know, what is that.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the mode of action. I've never
Yeah.
heard of that.
Mm,
I thought Vatiscana was a product name.
I don't know.
Spell that, Todd.
V as in Victor, ADESCANA. It targets a specific protein in Varroa mites that's essential for the reproduction.
That is the new biopesticide.
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm saying I
Yeah.
didn't know. That's a weird thing to call a mode of action. It
Yeah,
sounds
but that's
like a product name.
the mode of action is interferes with the RNA. It uses RNA interference as the mode of action. So
Yeah,
that is the scientific name for it, for Noora.
Yeah, all I'm saying is it sounds like a product instead of a mode of action.
Yep. And it's double-stranded RNA.
I don't know. What's that mean?
It's 2 strands of RNA, which is designed to silence a gene. That's the way they silence genes, and it's coumadolin gene is what they're interrupting. That is the reproductive gene for the mite.
So
Oh,
it costs $22 per pouch,
For a 2-pack. Yep.
a 2-pack. And that does 2 hives?
That's what I'm reading. Yeah.
Holy cow. If you got 100 hives, that's quite an expense.
It looks to be like a control kind of treatment.
Yeah, because it says, you're supposed to have your mite load down low. It's like this here Varroxan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, and we're back to this discussion of where they say not to put it on with supers on. So where we're at here on the East Coast, you can put it on, let's say July. You'd be kind of like late October, middle of November. And by that time, I'm not opening my hives up, to pull it back out.
yeah. I just don't understand that 75% survival rate. Is that good? Is that better than what you'd do if treating with something else?
I don't know.
For overwinter.
What if you have nukes? It doesn't say anything about 5-frame nukes, and I
Yeah.
guess 10-frame would be considered, a treatment for these. But what do you do with nukes?
I just like Formic Pro. I mean, they say they're not supposed to put it on nukes, but over the years, and where I've had a 5/5, I'll put it on. Put one single pad on. Works just fine.
Well, it says once the EPA approves the product, each state also must approve the product.
Yeah,
That's true. That's very true.
Well, I'll
So
never get it.
Maryland might not even get it.
I'll
Yep.
never get it.
And if your state doesn't approve it, you can't use it.
Can't
Right.
have a cow. You can't have a cow fart in this state. It's
Yep.
it's bad.
You got to
I mean-
catch all your cow farts, don't you, Todd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then you can't even have a tub of Apricot out there either.
Well, I could get around that. I won't say how, but I get around it.
But I mean, they're supposed to have what is called a pesticide application license for that.
Yeah, PCA.
Yep. And now the EPA just said this year that you got to have one for Amitraz, which is Apivar, in any form.
I'm kind of leery about the EPA approving products because the last time they did was that product called Brood Safe,
Yep.
and that went away. So I don't know.
What was that, Todd?
That was that for American foulbrood. It was a powder, and you sprinkle I think it was two tablespoons per hive, and it got rid of it 100%. There's no trace of it. You didn't have to burn boxes, frames, nothing. And
Yeah, Kent Williams
that's
talked about that on that last video and said that because of one of the government, I think
it was the
the agriculture department got it, approved it, but they didn't have the blessing of the EPA and they got pissed off.
No, it was the EPA that approved it. And the FDA got pissed off and wiped it clean. And he's right. You can't even find it on the internet. It's gone.
Nope. You can't. It's gone totally.
Hey, Philip.
Crazy how that happens.
Yeah. I guarantee you there was a manufacturer there someplace.
Well, think about it. They were coming up with that vaccine because this was back in 2019.
Yep.
So it's a one-time use basically versus guys buying vaccines all the time. So
yeah,
it's
so this
money.
This 75% survival rate was only shown to be the only time they saw it was during the trials. Since the trials of the thing, they haven't seen it. The 75% winter survival rate.
Now, there seems to be some confusion over in the chat. Is that bee survival rate or mite survival?
Bee survival rate.
Bee survival rate.
But
I'm
they
not
only
I'm
saw
not
it.
take a loss if I start using that.
And that it's up to a 75% winter survival rate in the trials. Since the trials, they have not seen a 75% survival rate.
So what's that mean? It's been higher or lower than 75?
Lower. It's lower. It's down to, they've got it right at 37.4 right now.
Yeah.
The only time they saw 75 was during the trials.
I mean, even 75 is not that, well, it's okay, but there's other products that beat 75%.
That's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, most of your winter survival rates, we're looking at, we're wanting 5% or 10% or something like that. Lossage.
I've said this for a while, and it's been a while since I've said it, but I've thought about it for a long, long time. It's not the mites we have to worry about. It's the viruses. If you get rid of the viruses, that's it, game over. If you can control those, the mites aren't killing the bees. It's what they're passing to the bees that's killing them. So we're
Yep.
zeroing in on the wrong problem.
Yep.
That's what the vaccination was about a few years ago, wasn't it? Where
No,
did
the,
that
the vaccination they came out with to vaccinate queens was the AFB vaccine.
Yeah, and why do you need a vaccine when you don't have a problem to begin with?
Well, AFB is trying to make a comeback.
Isn't there a couple of spots in Tennessee and Kentucky where it just keeps popping up?
Yep, in Virginia too.
Virginia, yeah.
Yeah.
It must be an Appalachia issue or something that grows, something that survives in that environment that lets it come back.
Well, it's a spore, and that spore will live up to 70 years.
Yeah.
So, and if you think about it, a lot of people in Appalachia, and in Virginia, period, they'll buy used equipment, or or like, oh, my uncle used to keep bees, I'll use his old equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it gets started again.
Yep. Yeah. Wow.
But the thing I've seen was I was down there years ago in Knoxville, Tennessee, and they were like super strict about I can't sell my box to you unless they have an inspector inspect it.
Yep.
And all that stuff. And I'm like, you guys must have had one hellacious AFB problem down here. But then it seems like to me down in there, and maybe like you talk about it, Bill, is that education is kind of little to none.
It is. And, the thing about it was it hit Virginia real hard in the late 70s, early 80s, AFB did. And they couldn't stop it. So that's when the state apiarist said, the only way you're going to get rid of it in Virginia is to burn the hives with the bees. And to this day, that is the only treatment for AFB that the state of Virginia recognizes. They will come in. If you think you have it, you're supposed to call the state apiarist. They'll come in and do the test. And if they find a hive that has it, they start testing hives out on each side of it until they get a clean hive. Everything in between those clean hives gets burnt. And once they find it, if they positively identify it as AFB, state apiarists will not leave that apiary until all those hives are burnt.
Wow.
He has to witness it. That's his job.
But it just seemed like to me down in Tennessee that at that time, I don't know, there just wasn't a lot of clubs and education and stuff like that. Not so much just AFB, but in general.
Hey, JW,
Yep.
I've seen AFB. I've experienced it. I know what it smells like. I know what it looks like.
Vincent says they can't sell used boxes or frames here in Ohio.
Yep. It's like if somebody comes to me and says, hey, can you sell my equipment for me? I can't do it. It's against the law. Because if they hand you a box and it's got written on it AFB and a set of initials behind it, that box had AFB in it back in the 80s, or a sticker on it, and it's got a date written on it, and it says AFB, inspected for AFB. You cannot resell that box. The only thing you can really legally do with it is burn it.
Yeah, they had when I started, a guy had a bunch of boxes to sell, they were pretty much rotten. They were ready for the for firewood as far as I was concerned. And they had this brand on there.
Yep.
And at that time, Well, actually, when I first started, I think they lost their EPA license, but there was some kind of a what's the thing you use for sanitizing surgical things? A clave,
On autoclave.
Autoclave.
autoclave. Well, they had this thing on a 2-wheel trailer, and you were supposed to put your boxes in there, and I forget what they used to use, but it was supposed to kill AFB.
Yeah, superheated steam.
I don't know what it was, steam or something along something else with it too.
And
And
probably a disinfectant or some type of.
anyway, this guy had these initials on there, and I asked the bee inspector, and she's still she wasn't the head state inspector yet, but she said, "Oh yeah, that was AFB or whatever it was," and I'm like, "Okay." And when she first started, she said, "I got into that same problem." Then she happened to be friends with the the head bee inspector for the state, and they had to clean the darn mess up. And so I stayed away from all that stuff.
Yeah, you'll know it if you've got AFB. You'll know it when you walk in your yard. You can smell it.
Well, I had EFB. I had European one time.
EFB is different because that can be treated with terramycin.
Well, I just killed the damn bees and got rid of all that crap. I didn't know any better. And she said you could either get rid of everything or do this or do that.
Yeah.
And anyway, that was like you said, you could smell it.
Yeah, you can smell it as soon as you walk in the yard. And when you find a hive that has it, you'll know it because you'll smell it. And that smell gets stronger the closer you get to the hive that's got it.
What's it smell like?
Death.
Like dead brood?
No, death. That's the best way to describe it. It smells like death.
But anyway,
And when you open it up and you pull that frame out, that's why I carry toothpicks with me all the time. I've always have since I was a kid, because that's when we had it, when I was a kid. And you can and if you start seeing, holes in the cappings, and you look in the cappings and you can see white, but it looks like soup, or whitish yellow, and it looks like soup, stick that toothpick in there and stir it up. If you can pull out a rope at least 6 inches long, and it stinks, and it's as foul smelling as you ever want to smell, and you can pull that rope out with that toothpick, that's AFB.
I don't know. It sounds pretty simple. To sprinkle 2 tablespoons of powder on your frames or your top bars and come back 2 weeks later and it's all gone. It was too simple, I guess.
No, I don't know. I don't think it'll work. I really don't, because AFB is just, once it hits a hive, it hits a hive. It's done.
Well, according to Kim Williams, it clears it up 100%. And I guess that's what the company claimed too. But they didn't have studies. They just rushed it out to market.
Yeah.
what the stuff is gone now, you mean, Todd?
Yeah, the stuff you can't find anymore.
Yeah. And I guess the reason that they didn't allow it to be on the market was because there was, number one, no studies, no nothing, no proof behind it or anything.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's either that or a lot of politics. Either way.
Yeah, it's all politics. It's all politics. Money.
It's all about the money.
Yeah. What was that, Ryan? Fireworks?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to get off here. I'm in the city, and they're starting to light them up.
It's still daylight.
Well, yeah, I got my computer. I'm sitting in a parking lot with lights around me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what happens is they shoot these fireworks off, and they'll hit a transformer, or we have PAC cable. It's a power line it's not wires. It's like a cable. and I'll have to go out there and figure out how to isolate it and all.
What's the locals are shooting off all this stuff, you mean?
Yeah, I'm in DC. Yeah, they're it's everywhere. I'm looking in the sky and they're starting it up right now. It'll be a long one. I get off at midnight though.
You hope.
And then I got to get up in the morning and go to the farmer's market at 7.
So Todd, you been out in the yard, or is it too hot out
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, I'm not too happy right now. You know, I got my hive count up again, and it's up to a pretty good level. But my orange was kind of the orange honey coming in was kind of a little light, and I thought, well, it's because I had such few hives that came out of winter, and of the ones that I had, only a few of them were really strong enough to get that nectar in April. Well, I didn't really pay attention to the surroundings too much, but when I was driving to the farm one day, I looked out, and in this lot, there was a bunch of boxes. And so I was out there today, and I should have had privet and tallow and some thistle. Yeah, it's very, very light. This guy's got 20, I counted 24 pallets of bees out there. I got my binoculars and glassed them. And I know who it is, but, I'll give him a call, but he's not going to move them. So now I might just have to buy some honey this year. Just to keep
That's 96 hives.
yeah. So
he's sucking everything that you usually get.
He's probably as the crow flies, he's probably 700 yards away.
Wow.
Yeah. And he had no idea. He has no idea my bees are there because I'm kind of down in a little valley, and you can't see him from the road anyway because of the trees at the farm. So, yeah, I'm not too happy about it. But it is what it is. I can't call him and say, move your bees. He's going to just laugh at me. He has, it's either 1,500 or 2,500 colonies, so he's got yards everywhere. So, yeah, I'll start open feeding.
There you go.
You know what I thought was, hey, I'll stop doing mite treatments and let them turn into mite balls.
Yeah,
and start all over next year.
Put some open feed out.
Yeah.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah. If it's not one thing, it's another. That's all. And then I heard you guys talking earlier about beetles. So I was just skimming through boxes, right? Taking lids off, looking down, seeing what I got going. And I had one box I opened up, and I happened to look at this fat part of this frame, and I saw a beetle crawl out. And I thought, well, that was too big for a hive beetle. But they had it cornered in the comb. When the lid was down, they kind of had it cornered. And when I opened up the lid, it scattered like a roach. I never could find it. So I don't know. Kind of bad news all around today. And there may have been an adult beverage or two in the afternoon with me because I was a little angry about the extra colonies around me. So I kind of stayed inside under the AC and had an adult may or may not have had an adult beverage. Let's just say it that way.
Well, every time you turn around, there's always something going against you.
Yeah, always.
Yep.
It's the way it is.
All right, Charlie, I'm gonna get off here. I'll be on the chat, guys.
All right, Ryan.
All right, Ryan. Good to see you.
Have a good one.
Hey, Roy. Yes, I don't know. I'll just be glad when I get all my honey spun and done. I'll see. I'll probably get, I don't know, maybe half a crop. I don't know. It's, it's I don't know. It's just some of the boxes I got this evening I was doing. I mean, like you said, they were, capped nice on both sides. And they were, like you say, Joey said about they're all even. They were spitting out some pretty good honey. And all that. So hey Glade, it's happening out in Utah. But
Yeah, I'll ship that box, or I'll ship that package to you here pretty soon, Charlie.
okay, whatever. I know no big.
I can't take it in my luggage.
Oh, really?
It's over 3 ounces or whatever the heck it is these days. When for the expo.
Oh yeah.
So I'll just and what I'm going to do, whatever I buy over there, I'm going to ship it back from the hotel. I just use my pirate ship account.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that pretty dependable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although they're taking an increase on the postal service. I got an email about it the other day.
Oh yeah. It's a heck of an increase too.
Wasn't it 85% increase?
Yep. It's huge.
Jeez. Oh man.
What the
rates that they're going to
Yeah.
charge through pirate ship.
through pirate ship 85.
Yep.
Pirate ship negotiates rates with UPS and the postal service. Well, this year postal service slammed an 85% increase on them.
Yep.
Alicia's going on vacation when Matt starts extracting.
Perfect timing. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty, I had 1,300 pounds last year, and this year I've got freaking 3 buckets right now.
Is that it?
Yeah. But now I think he's going to move his hives in the fall, and there is a ton of blue curl coming up right now. So hopefully he gets those bees out of there, and at least I could come back with something.
Who's the landowner?
It's the land it's on is like there's a bunch of ranch style homes on like 20 to 40 acres out there, and he's on one of them. So I don't even know who the landowner is. And
That'd be good. You need to find out who the landowner is and say, "Hey, I'll if you let me lease your land to put my bees on, I'll give you this much money or whatever whenever you sell the honey."
yeah.
And that'll cut him out.
Well, I don't know. He's pretty crafty. I think really I came up with a brilliant idea a little bit ago. The only way to probably get rid of him is just let my colonies go to mite bombs.
Yeah.
And then that'll scare him out next year. But he's a big almond pollinator too, so I don't know how long he's been there, but I did notice it this year. So I just luckily saw that out of the corner of my eye, I saw something white off in the distance, and I looked at it, and it was bee boxes. Oh well. It is what it is.
Philip's always doing something.
Yeah, he is. He's always busy.
Getting ready for market tomorrow. First one. Thanks, Sampler.
Yeah.
Hey, did you ever come up with a better shelf, Bill?
It's got one little, I don't know if I want to call it a problem, but it's got one little, I guess, flaw. A couple of them have broken in one place.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to come back and put a little butterfly inlay. It's right at the top where the grain or one little inset gets close to the end of the board.
Yep.
And what Stone Booters bought one, and he had one that was cracked. I think when just from putting it together. So I sent him a new one, and then he knocked it off the table, and it broke right there. And at the point when he saw the crack, Noah had knocked one off the table and it broke in that same spot. So what I did was we started making sure that little joint, when we slide the leg into where the I don't know what you call it, the riser was, that it fit nicely. It wasn't forced in.
Yeah.
But when his fell and broke completely, I said, yeah, it sounds like that's kind of going to be an ongoing issue. So I'm working on fixing that problem. So if anybody out there bought one and it breaks there, let me know. We'll get it replaced.
Well, if you get it worked out before Nobby, bring a couple of them with you.
All right, sure.
Mine broke.
You need his back to fix it, right?
Sean is, when I send him I'm going to send him 2 new legs with the patch in there, the little, I think that'll solve it. When I put a butterfly inlay across where that grain's running, that'll keep it from breaking right there. I'm just going to, route it in, but he's going to send me the other ones back, and I'm going to repair those too. I'm going to send him a label to ship them back. But yeah, other than that, it's doing good. I've sold, I don't know, about 6 of them. Have you had any trouble with yours?
No.
Okay, good. The knots where this is happening, on that version, it was only like 1 inch deep. And on the newer ones, I made it 2 inches deep because I wanted the leg to be a little more overlapping the stringer. So it would be stronger, front to back. Well, that ended up making the knots deep enough that it's into the board where it's finding that grain and cracking all the way up to the end of the board.
Yeah, mine's working great.
But yeah, I've still got to get with Cayman and see if he wants me to build more for the honey show. I haven't talked to him in a long time. Yeah, I'm gonna sell my poor little honey crop this year. I don't have much, but I think I'll be sold out in 2 months. Okay. One thing I'm finding kind of weird, and I've heard Jeremy with Granada honey talk about it, but one thing I'm finding out is the mesquite is blooming real late this year, and it's already bloomed once. I took some pictures today with the Home Depot, and I saw the mesquite trees off on the side blooming, so I pulled over there and got out to look at them. And no kidding, on that mesquite tree, there's full blooms. There's one that are just budded out. There's also, mesquite makes a long beam that hangs down. There's new beans that are flat, and there's beans that are completely full. It's like all the stages of development of the tree right there together. So that means it bloomed early in the spring and then it's blooming again.
Wow.
So giving me a little bit of hope that maybe I'll get some late honey, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to, how honey flows are. It's enough to sustain the bees or it's enough to build up. And I don't think it's enough to build up, to be honest with you. But,
Joey, did you see Clade's question about his high lifter?
Yeah, I just
I like mine, Glade. And I think Jack up in New Jersey bought one.
Yeah, he got one like yours, didn't he?
Yeah. I was watching his video, and I said, no. I said, you go in, take and crack that box apart first and then hook it up. And I usually have that top set of bars level. And I said, he tries to raise it up hydraulically. I'm like, no, push it down like a teeter totter, and it just pops it right up off of
Yeah.
there.
But see, I can put some pressure on mine because it's the dolly type. I can go ahead and latch it in and put pressure, and then crack the box open.
Yeah, yours, you're always using your battery because of the way it's made. All that.
Well, I'm going to hit the road, gentlemen.
Well, good to see you, Todd.
Good to see you, Todd.
A couple neighborhood parties going on. I'm going to make the rounds, I guess.
Yeah.
Were you invited, or you just going?
Well,
Show up.
they're all outside, you know. They're just everybody's driveways and stuff. But yeah, I'll catch up with you guys later. But everyone have a good 4th of July.
Yep. All right.
You too.
Thanks, Todd.
See you later.
See you
See
now.
ya.
So, what are you making your boxes up there, Phil?
Yeah, I'm making the
Sampler or whatever it's called.
yeah, I call samplers. I got a new one this year. Let me show it to you.
How long do you extract, Joey? I mean, I guess you'd be extracting for a month or two.
Yeah, I've still got a little bit to do. I've got about 4 more pulls.
Yeah.
The way I'm going, I probably won't do but maybe 1 a week till I'm done.
I mean, you started a month ago or more?
Yeah. Just cherry picking, as we call it, just going through pulling frames out that are capped.
Mm-hmm.
My season didn't turn out as good as some of the folks around here. My timing on some of my requeening on my main hives, a few of them didn't queen right the first time, and I had to requeen, and it kind of put everything back. I had several that had empty supers on them.
You ready,
of course,
Phil?
it didn't surprise me. I was expecting that because they just didn't peak at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Looks like Phil messed up. So, Glade, you say you have one order. Do you have the B1 or the B3 like I got? Hive lifter. Got one like Joey's or one like mine? What do you got, Phil?
Yeah, I realized when I was shrinking it down that I used the longer sticks. I needed 3 shorter ones. I was using the ones for the 4-ounce jars instead of the 2-ounce jars. I gotta do that again. But anyway, yeah, this is what I sold last year, which is it's 9 ounces of honey, 3-ounce jars of honey, or 2-ounce fluid jars. But I decided to do this one this year. I like the way that looks because it shows the different colors of honey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
got
a hex jar, isn't it?
Yeah, they're both they're exactly the same diameter. This one's just taller. You get these on Amazon. This is a 4-ounce. I'm sorry, the 4-ounce. So this is 6 ounces in each jar, which is double the honey that's in this one. I'm selling this.
Like you say, it
for
sits up tall and they can see it better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this will sell good.
Yeah, it has better presentation.
Yeah.
I'm selling. I sold this one. I sold about more than 90 to almost 100 of these last year for 20 a piece. I'm gonna sell this for 32. It's twice as much honey. So I think it'll sell good. It's only 18 ounces of honey.
How much is the little jars?
They're about $1 each, roughly.
I
It might
mean,
be-
how much were you selling the other style, the smaller box?
So these, I was selling 3 for 20 on this one. This was 20, and this one's gonna be 32.
32, you might as well just make it 35.
I was going to do 30, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that because I don't think anybody will buy the smaller one if I do that. But we'll see.
You're supposed to do it like the movie theaters used to do the popcorn.
It doubles each time it goes up.
Yeah. But you could buy the double extra large almost as cheap as you could buy the 100.
They probably figured out that it's only cost them like 2 cents more, but you're paying an extra 75 cents.
Yeah.
Are you getting your shrink wrap from Uline, Phil, or where are you getting it?
I'm getting it off of Amazon, but it's not cheap. It's a big roll of it. This is my 3rd year to use it, I think. And it's like $70 for that roll. I think I did send you a link on or maybe it was Brian that sent a link to it. I can't remember.
I'll say this: Uline is a whole lot more expensive than Amazon.
This stuff is really, I mean, it shrinks a lot and it's super strong. It's really high quality. I'll reorder it again, but I think the first price I paid for was like 55, but that was like several years ago. I think it's up to about 70, 75 now.
Ryan,
and it's also
Ryan says he likes them too, Bill.
Brian.
Ryan from Peabody. Ryan Peabody says he likes your new layout.
Oh, okay, cool. This roll of shrink wrap, it's what's called a double. It's like a folded, it's folded. So all I have to do each time I cut it, it seals off this side. So it's not a tube necessarily, but here I'll show you real quick. I'm about to do one. I just put this in the end of it here. But
it's looped.
Yeah, since it's a fold, I've got the top and bottom already there. So that goes in there just like that. And I'll pull this in here close. The impulse sealer is a 16-inch, and the shrink wrap is 14-inch. So there's a little in the inch front and back. So I've got it set for enough timing that once I do it once, I should be able to just tear it. So now it's sealed off on both sides, and the next piece is sealed off. It's ready to go. So let me put this in here and do one more side. You guys can see that or not?
Yeah, I got you blowed up.
And there's a little excess left. We throw that away. So now it's all sealed up. Here, I'll go ahead and shrink wrap it right here for you. You can mute me if it gets too loud.
Is it shrinking that end up too?
Yeah, it looks like it shrinks the whole thing.
Where you cut it off, Phil?
I think that's right there.
All right, the one end you cut it off right there, and it shrunk it right down.
Yeah. I never had to use scissors. I kind of messed this one up. I left this little curve lean forward. I usually straighten that up so it looks a little neater, but
Charge an extra $1 for that.
Don't catch their attention.
That did a really good job.
Yeah, it works really good. It makes a real nice professional looking. I also put in, I came up with these, instead of just a business card, this is like my business card, but it folds out. It's got writing on the front and back. And on one side, it talks about, what we do and as far as small batch, and we don't mix the honey together and all that stuff. And then there's some tips about how to enjoy your honey on the back. And that talks about not, how to decrystallize it, stuff like that. And then on this side, we've got it's real tiny, but I got like really kind of fun honey facts on this side. So, and I put one of those in each one of the boxes.
Brian says they use bags, shrink wrap bags.
The
Hmm.
Zavada or different, Brian?
Yeah, Zavada.
I guess he's using um, where they just put the product right inside a bag, and then I guess they have a sealer.
That would drive me crazy trying to handle that stuff. The bags are what Phillips got there.
Really?
I'd be
Pretty
slung it
easy.
out the window before long.
Pretty easy to me.
Well, you make the boxes and everything.
Give you a little example. That impulse sealer, it feels really good because see, it's a bubble. I have to heat it until it gets a little hole in it for it to flatten down, but it usually starts out as like a bubble, like a balloon. I just keep heating it until it pops. Try to get it to make a hole in the bottom. There it goes right there. It just went down.
When I got mine from you, I didn't want to open it for the longest time. I finally decided I wanted to taste the honey, so I didn't want to open it. It was too pretty.
Right there. Ready to go.
Yeah. So that sealer that you got, what's the width on that sealer?
16-inch model. I ordered 2 of them. Well, the first one didn't work, and I had to send it back. But this one worked good. I got extra. Oh, it's got a little element here that I can buy I got this one with extra ones, but I hadn't had to replace it, even though it is a little burn mark on it. Eventually, I'll have to replace these little heat strips, I guess you call it. But yeah, it's a Jinhong brand, Jinhong.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Nancy says to check out Nashville wraps. They're nice packaging stuff. I guess what she uses.
Yeah, I'm talking to you on my phone. I could look up what it is that I use, but it might be. I don't think it's a 3M, but it is a bigger company. But I don't know. It's like 500 feet or something of it. It's a huge roll.
Byron says he's got an impulse sealer to seal the open side of the bag.
That's what
Then
this is.
then you shrink wrap it.
Yeah, this is.
He said it's so easy that he can even do it.
Yeah, this is an impulse sealer. That's what this is.
What's a impulse sealer?
That same thing.
That's it. That's what this is. It's got a electrical impulse is what that means.
Sound like to me it's a hot bar. Isn't it a hot bar?
Yeah, when you pull this down,
Mm-hmm.
that little red light will come on,
Yeah.
and it's got a timer. So you set it with the thickness of your film. But what you want it to do is just what I do. You want it to just burn all the way through, and then you can just tear it apart. So it ends up sealing the next edge that goes through. It works really good for me.
Yeah.
I got a smaller one I use for honey straws.
Yeah. You can use one of those. You remember?
Actually, you actually make them honey straws, Joey?
Uh-huh.
You actually fill honey straws?
Yeah.
To me, I think I mean, they buy them for the club up here. It's like, shoot, you can buy the darn thing. It's cheaper than you can make them.
So back in the 80s, they used to have curling irons. Y'all remember those? I don't know if they have those anymore. You can use those to seal straws.
Hmm.
It worked for that. I actually have one. I never did make any straws. I tested it and it worked, but I never did make them. No, earlier today, I don't know how, I need to ask him how it came out, but he was experimenting with some beard balm he's going to make for his beard. If it works out, maybe we'll sell that too.
Well, maybe some wax mustache.
I want to make some hand lotion. I hadn't done that yet. That'll probably be for the next market.
Yeah, I think Brian does that stuff too.
Oh yeah, everything I steal from Brian's Revive.
Nancy,
Oh,
Mike
my-
Berry's got a pretty good video on them. I just use a condiment bottle and just fill the straw and then heat both ends just like he did that wrapping there. Just seal both ends. Trim it clean.
Well, you putting them in a plastic tube?
Straw, plastic straw, yeah.
Well, does that straw come real long and you can fill a whole bunch of them and just
No, I think mine are like 12-inch straws, maybe 10 or 12-inch straws. You just fill it till it gets almost to the end and stop. It stays in there. And then you just heat each end. Seal it.
sounds messy to me.
It really don't get messy. Don't hardly get anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I wonder if Nevada does this. Right? You can buy these 6-inch starter sticks, and I put them on my table and sell them. Let's see, we can get them
You
for-
actually buy them? I figured you'd have a lathe and you made them yourself.
I put this on my table. See, $1, and they cost me about 25 cents from Amazon. Yeah, I sell probably 6 or 8 of those every market.
There you go.
A little extra thing, sit on your table. So yeah, that's for you, Brian. That's your payback. $6 or $8 a week for all the good ideas I've stolen from you.
So, Brian, what is dragon fruit cream honey? He says honey wands are $4 at his table.
Really? Wow.
Damn.
He must have like little rhinestones glued to his or something.
Mm.
I haven't checked the price of them in a while. I might have to go look. A couple of years since I bought it.
I'm curious about that dragon fruit creamed honey.
Yeah, it must be green. I don't know.
Pinkish purple.
Yeah, dragon fruit's that cool looking fruit that has like little spikes on it, right? Looks like a dragon egg.
So did you bale hay today, Bill?
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Or the guy?
54 bales.
Okay. What size bales are those?
5x4s, about 1,100 pounds. We bet that was a small field. We got 54 bales on. One out here behind the house. Oh, we're doing big field tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon.
Hmm.
I kind of feel like Mark Miller there.
What's Mark doing?
Said the only thing dragging there is his butt.
I'm hoping I get a chance to take some hives over to West Texas and get some cotton honey. I don't know if that's gonna work out or not.
Are you getting any honey in, Phil?
No, it's been terrible here. I still have supers on all my colonies. I've got to make at least one more full, but they're not filling them up. I think we're pretty much.
What do you got to do? Buy honey?
I've never bought it before, but I don't know. If I buy honey, I think what I'm gonna do is try to make cream honey and just kind of sell it like a cottage food rather than, because in Texas, legally you could mix honey with your honey and sell it as your own, but that totally goes against everything I've been selling the last 4 years. So, I mean, if you look at my statement here, it says at RTX Honeybees, we specialize in small batch, single source honey. We do not mix the honey from different locations or from different times of the year. So if I went and bought honey and mixed it with mine, that'd be kind of totally
Yeah, I
against
know.
what
I know some people will sit there and will sort out I guess by looking at the cappings and what kind of color of the honey it is, but mine's usually pretty much all the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, this year I have, let me see if you guys can see the difference. Two bottles and compare them. They're real close. And there's only about, as the bee flies, there's only about, it's almost like, tell the difference there?
Just slightly.
Yeah. This one's a little bit kind of more red, and this one's more yellow. But yeah, this is the Capel honey. This is Crossroads. This one's about 27 miles north of this one, straight line. But next time I pull honey from these two locations, they'll probably both be darker. But at that point, but they do taste different. That Crossroads honey is almost exclusively privet. So it's got that real sweet privet taste to it.
Is that what privet has?
Till that.
Is it kind of like a cotton candy type of thing?
Yeah, it's really, the way I describe it is floral, but I don't know. Noah, and it kind of, after he said this, he said it tastes like watermelon. And then I tasted it, and I said, you know what? It tastes not like watermelon. It tastes like watermelon candy. You know how watermelon candy doesn't really taste like eating a watermelon? That's what it tastes like, watermelon candy. Like those hard candies you get, the little rectangular hard candy. It tastes like that. That's what it tastes like. It's good, but I'm more into, I like the fall honey, the real dark stuff. But I saved a little bit from last year to be able to make these little samples. And I'm selling it in like 9-ounce jars for as long as it lasts.
Well, where you're at in Texas, you're saying, is it the privet like a waterway area to get the moisture? Or?
No, It's just it grows kind of in the fence rows, and I think it likes to be in kind of a shaded area. It looks a lot like what they have, like Joey has down there. There's two privets. One's real early blooming, and this is a later blooming privet. It started blooming kind of toward the end of May and bloomed until about the middle of June.
Right. I don't know whether I have any privet around here or not. I don't think I do.
But there's
I mean,
a bunch of
probably
it.
I've seen some of it like Japanese knotweed, but that was grown along some stream way out in the country and all that stuff. Hey, Gary. And it just, I don't know, like I say, it depends on where you live type of thing.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of it right around here, but up there where my other bees are, it's a ton of it.
Hey, Matt.
I think once you get it somewhere, it's there because it takes over. It's very invasive. I don't want it down at my farm because you can't even walk through the woods when you get it. It just clogs everything up. I like it for the bees, but I don't like it for what it does to the wood.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell like my honey, if it don't rain and the locust blooms, then I'll get that real light straw looking honey. And if it rains a little bit too much on that and the poplar comes, then you get it's more of a darkish brown, I guess you'd call it. Dark amber.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
My Capel honey this year is much lighter than it was last year. Now, when I pull this second batch off, it may darken up. But
Hey, Jonathan.
It's running darker. Let me run lighter.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. Like I say, what I've got today is, I don't know. It's medium amber, I guess you would call it. Something like that.
Yeah. Last year, my first Capel honey was light, and my second Capel honey was a good bit. It was a lot darker. I would call it amber, just not dark amber, but I'd say toward dark, though, past medium. And when I had both on the table side by side, the darker outsold the lighter 2-to-1.
Really?
Yeah.
Usually it's always, to me, I always find it the other way around.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I've had some other people talk about, I'm forgetting who was talking about where they liked the darker stuff always. He said that was a #1 seller for them.
Well, what I found is there's about 25% of the people that prefer the darker. But when you get over into the fall and the weather starts cooling off, it seems like that goes to like more than 50%, maybe 60% of the people prefer that dark honey. Now it's definitely stronger. I say dark. It's dark.
That's like black.
Yeah, it's dark.
Yeah, it's really black.
I love it though. It's good.
Does it have a taste, or is it kind of like a robust taste?
Yes, it's got a much stronger taste. As a matter of fact, when my kids are working the thing, they sometimes don't pay attention to which order they let people try. I always have people try this last because it'll overpower your taste buds. So I start with the lightest to go to the darkest when I have to take.
Looks like buckwheat to me.
It's probably, I don't know what it has. Goldenrod, buckwheat, the flower. I think has a dark honey. Looks like a little daisy. Aster. It has some of that too. But
So Mark Miller, you picked 800 ears of sweet corn. What are you going to do with all them things?
He's gonna say, "Eat it."
I know it's going to get old that time. All right, Nancy, I'll catch y'all later. We're going to be checking out here pretty soon, I think, too.
Nancy, I won't be on tomorrow unless something changes. So if anybody else wants to take that spot, you're welcome. I'm going. A friend of mine is going to talk at a bee club, and I'm going to show support with him.
You can go throw some tomatoes at him?
Yeah. Hackling.
Oh, okay.
Green.
Cut it off. What are you going to do? Can it, I guess. I guess that's what you do.
That's what we always do here.
Where'd you get your boxes from, Matt?
What's that?
Matt Morris, he ordered wax dipped boxes. Yeah, he's putting it in the freezer. Mark is. Yeah. So.
Been a long day.
Yep. It finally got, like I say, got started extracting and all that. And my son got the hay cut with the help of the guy he kind of works with. Got it tedded out. So I guess I'll be baling hay or round baling. He's going to square bale some of it and I'm going to round bale the rest of it, whatever's remaining Monday, if everything goes well. So tomorrow we'll open up again half a day, and then I got friend of mine coming in to get a queen, and that leaves me with one queen left. Hey there, Brian. And we'll see how we do on as far as the grafting goes. All that. And then once I get the honey out of the way, then I can, I don't know, try to work on some of these queen issues of what I have. Get rid of some of the old queens and put new queens in and that kind of stuff. And I was lucky as far as grafting goes. I found a frame that actually had somewhat amount of jelly in it.
Really?
Yeah, it was, I looked at one and it was, yeah, they're there, all right, but it was like almost little to none when it come to jelly. And then I went over to another nuke that I was looking at, and I'm like, oh, okay, this looks pretty good. I was looking for age too, and I said, well, this looks about as good as I'm going to get. And because it had from eggs to older larvae.
Yeah.
And so I took it in the house and got to looking at it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I think we can do this. And then I always try to, if the sea is this way, I always try to, come from the back side of it. But here lately, I've just been going in there and getting it whatever, either way, don't matter which way it is. And it seems to, as long as there's a jelly in there, I can usually pick it up, scoot it off and all that. So I like to say, I went ahead and did 30. I figured, well, we'll see what happens. All that. So I don't know. Just like I say, got that in there. Got a juice jar on there for him, and all that. And like I said, I pulled off a lot of these big, tall hives, and I got the honey supers that are extracted out here in the driveway, and the bees were like a tornado out there this afternoon. And All right. Glade did 30 grass. I did mine yesterday, Glade. I did 30 of them. And so anyway, I've got some, I had put some brood comb in the freezer so none of the wax moth or hive beetles and stuff could get into it. And I pulled it back out tonight and letting it thaw out. And I got some other brood comb that was part of what I extracted tonight. And I want to go ahead and there's some of the hives out there that are like down to 2 mediums, and I need to get in there and drop that third box back on there. Yep. And give them space. And once I get this pool out of I have limited space as far as being able to bring boxes in. And once I get this last one done, then when I go back out there and pull the next grouping, then I'll get down to where I'll pretty much pull I'll have hives that are all the honey supers will be off, and I'll be able to put the third box back on, third medium, and be done with them bunch back to normal sizes. Then I can get in there and kind of either start treating or working with queen problems. I got one there. I've been trying to get it to requeen. I don't know. I hadn't dug down there deep enough to see whether or not she's up and running or not, but I'm kind of like, if she's not up and running, whether to take one of my nukes and just drop the darn nuke in there. And
yeah, that's me. I got some queens just didn't do good. If I can find them, I'm gonna pull them and combine them.
Well, my problem of it is I started noticing here lately is damn barn swallows are everywhere. And yep. I'm wondering whether they're knocking the snot out of my queens.
Well, I asked somebody the other day if they mentioned that, and they said, yeah, I think it might have been Mr. JW. I can't remember. But I didn't know they even bothered them.
Yeah, well, they'll eat anything.
Oh, yeah.
Darren wants to Darren, I only got one queen left. I sold them all. I either sold them all, or I put them in mating boxes, or I put them in some of these hives here that, that were 24 queens that I've noticed since I do the Demery, I'm burning them queens out fast. Okay. And this is their second year, and a lot of them went queenless on me. And I dropped I brought them virgin queens right into those boxes. So I've been using my own queens to requeen my apiary, selling some on the side on top of that. So I did another 30. If I get, let's say if I out of 30, I might get 25 or 20, probably about 20 maybe at the most. I got people calling me all the time, the state apiarist inspector. She just gave out my name. A guy stopped in yesterday and got a queen. She's been giving my phone number out. The other Man Lake dealer up the road here is my friend Lloyd. He gets calls all the time. He directs everybody to me. Of course, then I have to sit there and give everybody a lesson on how to introduce a virgin queen. Right now, most of my queens are at least a week old, and they're ready to fly. And yeah, it's like the candy is soft, but the end of it is glazed. I said I take a little screwdriver, dig that glaze off so it's fresh. I said, here, put it in there, put the stick up, the tube up on top, so if any dead bees will fall down. And I've been finding that 5 attendants to me is a good number. Seems like 6, I don't know. They get a little tight in there. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I've been popping attendants in. And one thing I did learn off of Ryan Watson's video, I go over there and I got some of that Pro Sweet and I got it in a quart jar. I'm feeding that cell builder. I'll have that inner cover, have bees on it. I'll take that thing and drizzle me a line across there, and then bees will all belly up to the bar. And then I could sneak up to them and get them, and then stick them in the cage and put them in the cage.
Just catch them walking across frame, Charlie. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, but I'm not pulling any frames up at that point in time. I'm usually those cages are sitting up on top.
No, I'm talking about catch them walking across the top of the frame. Just reach down, pick them up, put them in there, and put your thumb over the hole.
Yeah, Darren, you're right on that. Those queens, I'll burn them queens out in a year's time.
Yeah, you will.
And they'll go through. They're about like Brad down there at Occasion Homestead. His queens will go through one season, go through the winter, and about halfway through the next year, in the honey season, they'll die out. And that's what I noticed this year. And then most of those hives down there towards the field, yeah, they were laying. The queens were. They were doing okay. But they weren't as good as when they were first-year girls. I can tell you that much.
I'm gonna get on out of here, Charlie.
Night, Joey. Good to see you again.
I still got to work on my video. Go straighten up.
Yeah, I
in the
just see
house.
you just had a thing pop up about dropping something.
Huh?
I don't know. There's something you were posting something. I'm not sure.
I did a short earlier today, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian. See, that's what I found is
I'll see
they
y'all
all.
later.
All right, we'll see you,
All right,
Joe.
bud.
Good night.
Night.
Y'all have a good rest of the weekend.
Yep.
They're all feeding and they are easy to catch, and they got something to feed that queen with too in their gut. Well, guys, it's about 10:02 and everything, and I got to work tomorrow a little bit, and I'm tired from working all day today. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the chat, everybody, and all. So I will see you. Well, Bill, you're running Monday night, are you?
Yep.
Okay, you'll be up. I'll probably see you a little on the later side of Monday night, depending on how we do in the hayfield.
All right.
At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Bees All Day.
Yeah.
I'll see you back here on Friday.
Evening, Darren.
And at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, and I'm not sure when Nancy is. I guess Thursdays. She's still Thursday or Wednesdays?
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays. I think 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it's either 6:30 or 7.
Yeah, I think she started at 7 last time. So,
Okay.
all right, everyone.
All right.
We'll catch y'all later. And thanks for coming in tonight. And I'm glad everybody enjoyed the fact that I came on tonight, even though it's 4th of July.
Yeah.
So until
Good night,
next,
all.
we'll see y'all later.
Good night, everybody.